I showed him my swollen joints. My doctor chuckled and said, maybe hit the gym less, not more, when I held out my hands. In Dr. Garrison's exam room, my fingers were so swollen that my wedding ring had cut into the skin, left a red groove that wouldn't fade. Both wrists looked like someone had inflated them with air, puffy and discolored. My knuckles had disappeared entirely under the swelling. I'd been trying to show him this for 10 minutes, explaining that the pain was getting worse. I could barely hold a coffee cup anymore, but he just glanced at my hands, smiled like I'd told him a joke. He was leaning against the counter with his tablet, scrolling through something that definitely wasn't my chart. When he looked up, that chuckle came out, casual and dismissive. Maybe hit the gym less, not more, he said, like he'd solved a complex puzzle. You young guys, you all think more weight means more gains, but you're just destroying your joints. Scale it back. Take some ibuprofen. You'll be fine in a week. He was already moving toward the door, ready to end the appointment. I was left sitting on the exam table, with my swollen hands in my lap, wondering how a doctor could look at obvious inflammation and dismiss it as gym soreness. I'd been working as a mechanical engineer for 8 years, designing HVAC systems for commercial buildings. My job required precision work, with drafting software, calculations, detailed technical drawings. I wasn't a bodybuilder or some gym obsessive, just a 31-year-old guy who worked out 3 times a week to stay healthy, manage stress. My wife Natalie and I had a good life in our suburb outside the city. Small house with a yard, no kids yet, but we were talking about it. Everything felt stable, normal, until about 4 months ago, when my hands started hurting. At first, it was just stiffness in the mornings, the kind of thing you shake off with some stretching and movement. I figured maybe I'd slept wrong, spent too much time typing at work, but the stiffness didn't go away. After an hour, like you'd expect, it lingered through the morning, into the afternoon. By evening, my hands ached in a way that felt deep in the bones, not muscular. Natalie noticed before I said anything. I started having trouble opening jars, turning doorknobs. She'd watch me struggle with basic tasks with this worried expression that I tried to wave off. The swelling started in late spring, subtle at first, just slight puffiness around my knuckles that I told myself was nothing. But over the next few weeks, it got progressively worse, until my fingers looked like sausages. My wedding ring started cutting into my skin because the swelling wouldn't go down. I followed Dr. Garrison's advice exactly, stopped going to the gym completely, took the anti-inflammatory medication as prescribed, waited for the improvement he'd promised, but nothing changed. If anything, the pain got worse, spreading from my hands to my wrists, then my elbows, eventually my shoulders. By mid-July, I was waking up in the morning, so stiff, I could barely get out of bed. It took a full hour of moving around before my joints loosened enough to function somewhat normally. The swelling was constant now, visible, impossible to ignore. I started having to modify how I did everything at work, switched to using voice-to-text software because typing hurt too much, had to ask colleagues to help with tasks that required fine motor control. My boss, Leonard, noticed I was struggling, asked if everything was okay. When I went back to Dr. Garrison in August for a follow-up, I'd been off the gym for 2 months. The anti-inflammatory medication had done nothing. I showed him my hands were even more swollen than before, that the pain had spread to multiple joints, that I was having trouble doing my job. He seemed puzzled for about 30 seconds, then suggested maybe I had tendinitis, taking longer to heal than expected. The physical therapy started in September, twice a week, at a clinic near my office. The therapist, a woman named Diana, who'd been practicing for 15 years, seemed immediately concerned. When she evaluated my range of motion, saw the extent of the swelling, she asked detailed questions about my symptoms, when they started, how they'd progressed, whether I had any family history of autoimmune diseases. I told her my aunt, on my mother's side, had rheumatoid arthritis, and that's when Diana's expression changed completely. Full story is linked below or on my channel.